Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Sagrija Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhadam Sute Devi Pradamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripha Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Guru Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, Angam langhayate giram, Yad kripata maham bande, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandam Madhav Shri Chaitanya. Okay, so yesterday in the 9th chapter, we were talking about the mother of all rules. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this always remember Krishna is called Viddivrata, which means something that you must do. Never forget Krishna is called Nishedhavrata. It is something you should not do. So something you should do is to remember Krishna. Something you should not do is forget Krishna. So why is it that Lord Krishna is talking about the topmost knowledge in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita? Should it not be the climax and come towards the end of the Gita? That is the highest level of knowledge. Normally, if you talk to authors who write books, especially mysteries, then they save, the best for last, so to speak. They give you a surprise in the end, or they reveal the highest truth only in the end. But here, Krishna is talking about Bhakti Yoga starting from chapter 7 itself. Why is that? Because it is so highly confidential. It is protected on both sides by Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So the most important element here is Bhakti. And Bhakti is, Prabhupada said, it's like a, hardbound book. You have the harder covers that form the external shell. So that would be Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. And the more delicate paper is housed in between the two. And Bhakti is like that. So actually, in the middle 6 chapters, the 7th chapter is all about Bhagavan, because the Lord gets an opportunity to introduce himself in an emphatic way, saying that indeed he is the Supreme Personality of God. So Bhagavan talks about Bhagavan in the 7th chapter. Then in the 9th chapter, which we covered yesterday, Bhagavan is talking about Bhakti. The essence of Bhakti is covered in chapter 9. So Krishna is essentially saying, whatever you do, you offer it to me in my service. So if you are very talented in different, fields, then that talent should be used to serve Krishna. It doesn't mean you cannot earn a living, but you should figure out how to intelligently use the talent that Krishna has given you back in his service. So Krishna is not really asking for big things. He's simply asking for Patram Pushpam Phalam Toy. This is something anybody can give him, anybody can offer. You don't have to be exceptionally rich to give Krishna something that would really please. Even if you pluck tulsi leaves and offer it to him every day. Actually, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to take tulsi, apply some chandan, and then place it at the lotus feet of Krishna every day. This is something we are supposed to do that really pleases Krishna. So it is the small things that Krishna really looks at. And most importantly, he is looking at your mood with which you are doing that particular seva. So when Lord Ram and Sita Devi get exiled and they go into the forest along with Lakshman, they have to cross a river. And when they come in front of the river, so Lord Ram is standing there along with Sita Devi and Lakshman, thinking, oh, how am I going to cross this river? We need a boatsman to help us. So just as the Lord was thinking about this, a boatsman showed up there. And Lord Ram said, can you please take the three of us across the river? And the boatsman said, certainly, I'd be happy to do this service for you. Now, after the boatsman had taken Lord Ram and Sita Devi and Lakshman onto the other side, the Lord said, you know what, I'm now living in the forest. I really do not know how to thank you. I don't have much to offer. And then as he's saying, I really don't have anything to offer in exchange for the service, because you should never take a service for free. You should always return services in kind. So the Lord says, I don't have much to offer. And the boatsman said, no, that's okay. And then just as Sita Devi was trying to take off one of her chains to offer it to the boatsman said, no, 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 will not accept it. And so Lord Ram said, look, we would like to repay you. You've given us a service. And so the boatsman says, actually, you don't have to pay me. However, there is an agreement among boatsmen in this particular part of the land that every boatsman gives another boatsman a ride for free. So the boatsman said, every boatsman gives another boatsman a ride for free. So Lord Ram was quite puzzled. He was thinking, okay, you are a boatsman. I'm not a boatsman. I am Dasharatha Sutta, son of a king. To which the boatsman smiled. He said, I'm a very small boatsman, All I can do is ferry a few people from this side of the river to the other side of the river. But my dear Lord, you are the biggest boatsman, because you have the power to carry all the Jivatmas to cross this massive ocean of material miseries and then take them into the spiritual world. So the boatsman said, do we have an agreement? That means next time we see each other, you have to give me a ride. But give me a ride where? Give me a ride to the spiritual world, because you are a bigger boatsman. So even devotees are very intelligent. So a small service offered by the boatsman of taking the Lord over from one side of the river to the other side of the river. In return, the Lord gives him moksha. Similarly, there is this pastime of Jatayu. When you talk about service, remember one of the shlokas that we read, it said that, in my eyes, my devotees are like saints. They may still have some impurities, but because of their determination, they'll make very quick progress. And we said, therefore, we should never criticize a devotee of the Lord, because externally they may be showing some impurities, but the Lord is personally working with them. So coming back to Jatayu, Even if your service is not perfect, or if your service has not been completed, but you tried with determination, even then the Lord takes care of you. So Jatayu was no match for Ravana. He was not exactly in a position to rescue Sita Devi or protect her, but he tried. He tried to do the right thing. And he falls down injured on the forest floor. But he tried. He tried to help Sita Devi. So the Lord is not also looking for perfection in service. He's looking for your mood with which you did that service. Jatayu was determined. And the Lord rewards his determination by personally performing his Antam Samskar. After Jatayu expressed his dismay at not being able to do much. So Jatayu was thinking, I failed in my service. I couldn't do much. But the Lord did not see it that way. The Lord said, you did what you could. So even Jatayu gets moksha. So the Lord is not looking at the big things that you're doing for him. The Lord is looking at what are you actually trying to hold back? Are you holding back something that you could offer the Lord? So Krishna is not looking at how much you are giving, because whatever you're giving Krishna, Krishna has already given you to give it back to him. Krishna is actually seeing how much you're holding back. So when you do your services and when you offer yourself to Krishna without holding back, then Krishna really appreciates such kind of service. So all Krishna is looking for, are you doing the best you can to satisfy and please? Now, yesterday I mentioned we did not speak really about Lord Brahma's lifetime. We spoke about the Brahma Vimohan Leela yesterday, right? Correct? Do you all remember the Brahma Vimohana Leela? What is that Leela about? What happened in that Leela? Who was bewildered?
Mataji stealing of the cows and Krishna's friend.
So Brahma steals the calves, then he steals the Gopa boys. He thinks he's about ready to test the Lord. And he is shocked to find out that this little boy is actually the Supreme Lord. So somebody asked this question, how often does Krishna come? Does Krishna come regularly? The answer is yes. So Krishna comes once in the daytime of Lord Brahma. Now we have to understand what that means, because Brahma lives for a very long time. When Brahma goes to sleep, there are 14 planetary systems, and Brahma is in the topmost planetary system called Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. So when Brahma has to rest after his 12-hour day, the bottom 11 planetary systems will get submerged in water. This is called the pralaya, or the partial destruction. So every day that Brahma goes to sleep, the 11 planetary systems will go underwater. Every day, the following day that Brahma wakes up, Brahma has to figure out how to bring all those planets out of the water and make them float, make them, hang like a cotton ball in the sky. So this is Brahma's job, daily job. During the daytime, he has to figure out how to deal with characters like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. In between, he has to also finish chanting his rounds. He has to do Mangala Arathi. He has to do Tulsi Puja. He also does all of this. But in between his japa, having to deal with interesting characters like these. And then every day when he wakes up, he has to figure out, oh, back to square one. I have to lift those 11 planetary systems and bring them out of the water. So like this, Brahma lives for 100 years. So Brahma's 100 years is equal to 311 trillion 40 billion solar years, Earth years. So remember, that is why when Brahma went to his planet and came back, already one full day had passed in the earthly realm. Whereas in Brahma's planet, it was just a millisecond. Okay. So similarly, it is said that the Devatas, they live for 10,000 earth years. That's their lifespan. So one full year for us, 365 days for us, is one day for the Devatas. So for us, it's like, oh my God, 365 days and 2025 will be over. For the Devatas, oh, the sun has just risen and the sun has just set. So our 6 months is equal to their daytime. Our next 6 months or 4 months in which they sleep, which is called Chaturmas. Did you know that? Did you know what is Chaturmas? Chaturmas, it is said, when Lord Vishnu and all of the Devatas rest. In those 4 months, you don't do anything auspicious because the Devatas are resting, the Lord is resting. Just this is called Chaturmas. 4 months. So those 4 months, it's like equivalent to 8 hours of sleep for the Devatas. So at the end of Brahma's lifespan, which is his 100 years, so every day he wakes up, goes to bed, wakes up, he has to do the same thing again and again. But when he reaches the end of his life, then all of the planetary systems get annihilated. So when Rudra dances and Anantashesha starts to spit fire from his mouth, and the Samvartaka cloud simply inundates the entire universe and all of the universes go under. This is at the end of Brahma's lifespan. So you may ask, okay, if Brahma lives for 311 trillion 40 billion years, at the end of 100 years for him, where does he go? Well, if he's a devotee of the Lord, since he's finished his service to the Lord, overseeing and maintaining, being the secondary maintainer of the universe, creator of the universe, then he goes back to the spiritual world. If he has not performed any bhakti, then this Brahma has to take birth in the earthly planets. So it is said that our current Brahma is accepted to be a great devotee of the Lord. That means when annihilation comes for our Brahmanda and all of the other Brahmandas, then this Brahma who is a Bhakta will simply get transferred to the spiritual. So this is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. That so much so even the Devatas are confused and bewildered. And we look at one more pastime today where one more devata gets bewildered by that, by the Lord's pastime. So today we begin the 10th chapter. There were many important shlokas that we covered in the 9th chapter. All those shlokas are important because they repeatedly describe the position of performing bhakti, that only elevated souls perform bhakti. So the 8th chapter was insurance policy, and we said because we're trapped in this jail, you need to get out of this jail, and also you need the keys to the keys to the spiritual world. What inspires Krishna to unlock the door to the spiritual world just for you? It is bhakti. So the password to enter and go back to Krishna is bhakti. I mentioned that Krishna is going to talk about his various Shakti potencies in the 10th chapter. Therefore, the 10th chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means opulence. Opulence means you could say richness or wealth, but it is counted in so many different ways. It's not just money. It's fame, it's beauty, it's intelligence, it's strength, it's renunciation. So Parashara Muni, the father of Srila Vyasadeva, defines Bhagavan using the 6 characteristics that the Lord has unlimitedly. So today, Krishna is going to tell us how he is actually the source of everything. And we're going to come to very important shlokas in the 10th chapter, which is shlokas 8 to 11, which is called the Chatushloke Gita. If you want to understand the essence of the Gita, it is there in these 4 shlokas. The essence of the Gita is there is Bhakta, there is Bhagavan. The Bhakta is performing bhakti for the pleasure of Bhagavan. Then Krishna will explain his opulences, how he is everywhere and also in everything. So in chapter 9, the Lord has said that my devotees are great. So in chapter 7, he introduces himself as Bhagavan. In chapter 9, he glorifies Bhakti Yoga. Actually, in chapter 8, we said the Lord is talking about the Yoga Mishra Bhaktas because they do a little bit of Ashtanga Yoga and a little bit of Bhakti. Whereas chapter 9 is Kevala Bhakti, pure devotion. That is why it is the highest and most confidential knowledge. Now, since Krishna has glorified Bhakti, and in that process also his Bhakta, although he will do it again in chapter 12, when he glorifies his devotees. So Arjuna thought, okay, this must be the end of the Gita. Could there be anything more to speak after you're talking about the topmost yoga? If you're talking about the topmost yoga as being Bhakti Yoga, there must not be anything else that Krishna has to say because this must be the end of the session. So the Lord says, no, I have a little bit more to share with you. And this time, the Lord is going to talk about how that because Arjuna is his friend, he's going to reveal more to him. So the first shloka begins as follows. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrinu me paramam vachah Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshyami hitakam yaya. Here the Lord is saying, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Okay, if 9th chapter was the creme de la creme, the topmost and the best and the highest of all secrets, what is it that the Lord could say anymore? Well, Arjuna is about to find out. So the Lord is eager. There is a saying, when somebody is excited and they start speaking, they are on a roll. You can't stop them. So now the Lord is on a roll. You can't stop the Lord. He's already talking about his devotees. He's talking about bhakti. He's talking about himself. So the Lord is eager to expand on this topic. So the Lord essentially says that he is the source of everything. But then it is difficult even for devatas and for great rishis to understand this. And for that, we have to look at this Leela. But before we look at the Leela, let's look at the shloka. Name vidusura ganaha prabhavam namaharshayah aham adir hidevanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So Krishna has selected two categories of people to tell us that these two categories also don't understand me. Why has he selected these two categories? What is the unique thing about the devatas? What do you think? What is unique about the devatas? What is unique about the rishis? Krishna has selected two categories of people to say, even these people don't understand me. What is special about the devatas? Okay, if you're the Minister of Finance, what can I assume about you?
Power.
Power. Devatas are very powerful people. So Krishna is saying even the most powerful among the Jivatmas are unable to understand me. And a prime example of that we saw yesterday was Lord Brahma getting bewildered when he decides he should test Krishna. Okay, so what is special about the rishis? If the devatas are powerful, what is the uniqueness of the rishis? If the devatas are all powerful, can we say the rishis are all knowledgeable? Because they study the scriptures. So Krishna has selected two categories of people to tell us that the most powerful among men and the most knowledgeable among men, they don't understand me. It's like Krishna is saying, these in our culture or in human culture now, there is this habit of awarding Nobel Prizes, no? The best chemist or something they would have written. Some Japanese researcher wrote a paper about the benefits of fasting. Why regular fasting actually keeps you healthy. How it helps get rid of toxins in your body. So how you have to regularly detoxify your body, and the simplest way to do that is to just keep a fast. For that he won an award, the Nobel Peace Prize. Now our rishis have never been given Nobel Peace Prize or Nobel Prize, but they knew everything. They knew the truth. They didn't do research. They didn't do any tests. They didn't do any experimentation. But they knew, and they didn't show off, and they didn't write in any journals. And they didn't apply for any awards. But they were all knowing. So even the rishis, Krishna is saying they cannot understand me. So in this particular picture, you see the Leela with Indradev. This also comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, just like the Leela we discussed yesterday of Lord Brahma. In this particular Leela, Indra also thinks, who is this little boy? I have to teach him a lesson. Now, how did Indra come up with this mood? Who is this little boy? He's so arrogant, I have to teach him a lesson. Who is this little boy? Krishna. Krishna is so arrogant, I have to teach him a lesson. Why? Because Krishna one day, he was watching his parents and all of the elders prepare for a massive ceremony. And this comes a day after Diwali, where they offer propitiations or yajnas for the satisfaction of Indra. And Krishna, in a question and answer session with Nanda Maharaj, he tells them, you really don't need to propitiate Indra anymore. Actually, the only thing that is protecting you and taking care of all of your needs is Giriraj Govardhan. So let's all worship Giriraj Govardhan, forget Indra. That's what Krishna told his father. Now, for it is a family tradition that they were following, where they would offer their yajnas to the rain gods. Because without rain, you can't do much. You can't grow crops, your cows will not have good grass, etc. So somehow Krishna convinced, with the help of his Gopa boys, convinced all the cowherd men, you stop this worshipping of Indra. Instead, you worship Giriraj Govardhan. And Giriraj Govardhan is non-different than Vishnu. So when Indra heard that he is not getting his share of the yajna, because suddenly there has been a drastic change in plans, somebody else is going to be worshipped. So Indra thought, how dare somebody stop their worship of me? What is going on? So Indra asks his associates to go and shower rains and floods on Vrindavan. But the Lord simply lifts Giriraj Govardhan on his little left finger, the pinky finger. And for 7 days and 7 nights, their entire village is protected under Giriraj Govardhan. And Indra was getting more and more angry, thinking, how come this child has not given up yet? After the 7th day, Indra thought something must be really special about this child. And he comes to see the Lord, but this time he comes with a great devotee of the Lord by name Surabhi. Indra's elephant is called Airavata. So you can see Surabhi cow also there. Because the minute Krishna sees his great devotees, his heart just melts. So Indra, just like Brahma, also realizes what a mistake he had made. But in the meantime, as the Lord is protecting all of the Vrajavasis under Giriraj Govardhan, he was thinking, my devotees are safe here, under the hill. But this Indra, he is also my devotee. But his ahankar is increasing, and I have to do something to protect him. So the something to protect him was holding up Giriraj Govardhan and letting Indra know he is not a great personality himself. That he cannot think of fighting with the Lord. It's just a foolish errand, they say. But see, the Lord was also thinking about the well-being of Indra. He was thinking, this devotee of mine, he's gotten a little carried away with his power. I have to do something. I have to handle it. And so Indra comes begging for mercy from the Lord, seeking forgiveness. And then with Airavata's help, and Mother Surabhi's help, milk and water abhishek was done of the Lord. And in this abhishek, there were no other demigods. Only Indra was there. And Airavata and Surabhi. Usually when abhishek and worship of the Lord happens, all of the demigods are present. But this was a little bit of an embarrassing situation for Indra. So only he was present. So similarly, so we've talked about two demigods who could not understand Krishna. One is Lord Brahma and Indra. Now we're going to go to an example of a great rishi. Ambarish Maharaj is also a great devotee of the Lord. And so is Durvasa Muni. Yes, Durvasa Muni is known for his short temper and for his curses. Still, the Lord also considers him as his devotee. So once Durvasa Muni had come to visit Ambarish Maharaj, it was on Dwadasi. Actually, tomorrow is Ekadashi. We will talk about it. The importance of observing fast. So on Dwadasi, you have to break your fast within a particular period of time. Because if you don't break your fast, then you have to continue the Ekadasi Vrat even on a Dwadashi, and then break your fast on Trayodasi. So that's the tricky part about observing Ekadasi fast. You must break your fast at the designated time period that is given, or time span that is given. So Ambarish Maharaj was overjoyed that a great devotee of the Lord like Durvasa Muni is coming there with all of his disciples. So Durvasa Muni visits Ambarish Maharaj and says, okay, we'll all break fast together, but let me first go and take a bath. So Durvasa Muni has gone to take a bath, but he has not come back. And Ambarish Maharaj is waiting, and now he's in a confused state. The Parana time to break the fast is going to expire. So Ambarish Maharaj asks the Brahmanas, what should I do? Because when a guest arrives, you are supposed to serve the guest first before you honor prasadam. So you should serve prasadam to the guests first. After they are completely satisfied, only then you should honor prasadam. But then you have to break your fast. And Ambarish Maharaj was keeping Nirjal Ekadashi. So he could break the fast just by sipping water. And doing Achaman is also sipping water. It says you just sip water the size of a mustard seed. So the Brahmanas told Ambarish Maharaj, the best way to break the fast is to just do Achaman. Because sipping water is considered breaking the fast and also not breaking the fast. But unfortunately for Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni arrives there just as he has taken the sip of water. And immediately Durvasa Muni gets very angry. He says, you don't have any shame. I am your guest and you have broken your fast without first feeding me. So Ambarish Maharaj is just, saddened to hear what Durvasa Muni says, but then he can't say anything. This is a great sage. He respects and honors. But sometimes anger clouds your judgment, and this happened with Durvasa Muni. So he becomes so enraged, he picks up a blade of grass and sends it towards Ambarish Maharaj to kill him. That's how powerful Durvasa Muni was. But as soon as he releases that blade of grass, the Lord was so concerned for his great devotee Ambarish Maharaj. Sudarshan Chakra is chasing Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni gets very perturbed. He tries to get the Sudarshan Chakra to stop. So first he goes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, look, I can't help you. Why don't you go consult with Lord Brahma? Lord Brahma said, sorry, I can't help you. The Sudarshan Chakra belongs to Vishnu. Really, you should be visiting Vishnu. I'm not going to interfere in the matters of the Lord's relationship with his devotees. So Durvasa Muni was forced to go to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said, and we will cover that shloka here in a second. Lord Vishnu said, my devotees are my heart and soul. They are never separated from me. Therefore, I cannot do anything. If you have offended my devotee, you have to go and beg for forgiveness from them, because even I cannot help you. So the Lord's mood is that you can be disobedient to the Lord. He will tolerate it. But when you commit an offense against his dear devotees, then the Lord is no longer able to tolerate it. So when you harm his devotees, or when you try to harm his devotees, the Lord does not forgive. So therefore, he says, actually, the person you should go and beg for forgiveness is the person that you offended. Once they are pleased and once they have forgiven you, then there's nothing I need to do anymore. So the Lord forgives us if we commit sins against him, but not if we offend his devotees. The Lord is not able to tolerate it. So hence Krishna is saying, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or my opulences. Krishna is saying that the sages don't understand how I have come into being. The demigods don't understand my opulences. And Krishna is also telling you why. He's saying, because I am the source of the Devatas and I am the source of the great rishis. So how can the created understand the creator? That becomes quite difficult. So in this particular shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto, chapter 4, shloka 63, the Lord is actually talking to Durvasa Muni. So in the picture, you see Durvasa Muni holding on to the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj, begging for forgiveness. And that's when the Sudarshan Chakra stops and disappears. So here the Lord is telling Durvasa Muni, when Durvasa Muni visits Lord Vishnu in his abode, Shri Bhagavanuvacha aham bhakta paradhinah yasvattan tantra iva dvija sadhubir grasta hridayah bhaktair bhaktajana priyah. So the Lord is telling Durvasa Muni, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. The Lord, who's known as Swarat, is saying, when it comes to my devotees, I'm not independent. So they can do whatever they want with me. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the cores of their hearts. What to speak of my devotees? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. So the Lord is not necessarily looking for you to become his devotee. If you become a devotee of his great devotee, the Lord is even more pleased. So that's what the Lord is saying. Sorry, Durvasa Muni, I can't help you here because you have offended my pure devotee. So here in the third shloka, the Lord says, Yomam ajam anadim cha vedi loka maheshwaram asammuda samartyeshu sarva papaif pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undeluded among men is freed from all sins. In the 9th chapter, the Lord says, nobody understands me except my devotees. Here, Krishna is saying, those who understand that I am the Supreme Lord, what is the benefit that they get? Simply knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. In this shloka, Krishna is not talking about his devotees at all. He's simply saying, any Jivatma who understands and accepts that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is nobody beyond me. Indeed, I am the source of everyone and everything. Just this knowledge alone, what is the benefit? All your sins are wiped out. Just for knowing who Krishna is. That's how merciful the Lord is. So in order to get rid of all of our sins and confusion, we have to understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Bhagavad Gita. So now we're going to come to the section that is called the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Bhakti Yoga, in 4 shlokas called the Chatushloka Gita. So shlokas 8, 9, 10, and 11. And it begins, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Krishna was saying, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. So Krishna says everything comes from me and therefore I am the source of everything. Both matter and spirit come from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So Krishna is saying those who have understood this and accept this as the truth, that I am the source of everything, the minute they know this, what do? They become my devotee. They are engaged in devotional service and they worship me with all their hearts. So in this definition, only a quarter Krishna is talking about himself. Now the rest of the shloka in 8, 9, 10, 11, Krishna is actually going to talk only about his devotees. So shloka 9, Krishna is saying, Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So again, Krishna is talking about what his devotees are doing. Matchitta matgata prana. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their prana, their lives are fully devoted to my service. Bodhayantah parasparam. What are they doing? They are always talking about transcendental subject matters. Kathayantascha mam nityam. Whose katha are they doing? My katha. And by doing my katha all the time, they are just talking to each other. So this is the congregation of devotees who are sitting and listening to Harikatha. Just like we are sitting and listening to Bhagavad Gita and what the Lord is saying. Krishna is saying this is a symptom of devotees. Of course, here Krishna is talking about his pure devotees who are completely absorbed in him. They are always doing devotional service. So if everything has come from Krishna, as Krishna states in the previous shloka, then should we not have immense gratitude to Krishna If somebody cares for you so much, they take care of everything for you without being asked. So even without you thinking about it, without you asking for it, Krishna is supplying you with everything. Therefore, Krishna becomes very pleased when we express our gratitude to him. Bhakti means love. Love means to serve Krishna. We don't try to exploit Krishna simply because we understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and whatever we desire, he can give. So we are not in a relationship with Krishna to exploit him. We are in a relationship with Krishna to simply serve him for his pleasure. And we have to do all of this from the core of our hearts. So in this Matchitta Matgata Prana Bodhayantav Parasparam, two devotees were sitting in the temple. They were discussing Harikatha. Two kathas they were discussing, the Brahma Vimohan Leela and the Govardhan Giriraj Leela. So one devotee said, what does Brahma do? He really does not harm the devotee, but he has separated the devotee from the Lord. To which the other devotee said, "Now, what do you think Indra did? He actually tried to harm the Lord. He was so angry, he was ready to kill the little boy and kill all the devotees too in Rajabhumi." So they were going back and forth as to which Devata was a better devotee of the Lord. So even though Indra tried to kill Krishna by sending rain and also all of his Rajavasi devotees, Indra is considered to be a superior devotee than Brahma, who only kidnapped Krishna's friends and the calves. But the kidnapping is considered to be a higher offense rather than attempted murder in this case, because Krishna does not like to be separated from his devotees. And Brahma did the worst thing. He took the calves, he took the little boys and separated them from Krishna. Whereas even though Indra tried to injure and perhaps even destroy Rajabhumi because of his anger, somehow he brought all the gopas and gopis, men, women, children, cows, calves, animals, peacocks, deer, everybody under the shelter of Giriraj Govardhan for 7 days continuously and 7 nights continuously. Everybody was taking association of Krishna. So Krishna was very happy with Indra. Wow, because of the rain, because of your anger, you managed to bring all my devotees under the umbrella of Giriraj. What a service you've done to me, Indra. So it is said, during the daytime, the gopis would be very, very bitter the minute they saw the sunrise because they knew what that meant. If the sun rises, what does that mean for them? For the gopis. If the sun has come up, the gopis felt depression. Why?
Hare Krishna, my friends.
Hare
They can
Krishna.
have darshan of the Lord when the sun rises.
Huh?
They can have darshan of Lord Krishna when sun rises.
Acha, but why should they be depressed about it then?
They should go back to home after Leela. They should go back to
Sun
home.
rises, the gopis are depressed. Why?
Because what they want to serve to God.
They can't serve the Lord during the daytime because Krishna is very busy with his cowherd boys playing games. winners, losers, grazing the calves, grazing the cows. So they lose sight of Krishna. Similarly, when the sun sets, the Gopas were depressed because they thought, oh my God, when will the sun rise? We are being separated from our beloved Krishna. And the Gopis thought, thank God the sun is setting. At least now we can go visit Krishna. So sunrise and sunset caused depression for different categories of devotees in Rajabhumi. Because they were thinking, oh, we will not see Krishna, we will miss him. The whole day Krishna is going to be with his friends, enjoying himself. What are we going to do? Our life air itself is about to leave our bodies. That's how much separation and anxiety the gopis will feel. So much so, the gopis curse Brahma. They tell Brahma, what kind of creator are you? Even a millisecond, we don't want to take our eyes off of Krishna. And you've created us with eyelids. If you had any sense, you would have not created any eyelids, because then we don't have to blink. Constantly we'll be only seeing Krishna. This is what the gopis were in the mood. That, hey, Brahma, you're not the best of the creators because you made a mistake by creating eyelids. This commentary is actually there in Bhagavad of the gopis criticizing Brahma. I mean, they're talking about Brahma. It's not that like Brahmaji is there in front of them, but they're criticizing Brahma, saying, what kind of creator? You've created eyelids. So in the third shloka of the Chatushloke, the Lord is saying, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So again, Krishna is coming back to what role he plays in the devotee's life. Earlier we read that shloka, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, where the Lord says, I protect what my devotees already have and I give them what they lack. Both things Krishna takes care of. Here Krishna is saying, if they've practiced devotion for a long time and they're doing with so much love in their hearts, then I myself will go in and clean their heart and shine the lamp of knowledge so they can understand who I am. So this is how Krishna is experienced by pure devotees. Because Krishna is saying, he himself gives them the understanding by which they can return to him. That means you cannot go back to Krishna automatically. You have to have the desire, you have to make the endeavor, and then the Lord has to shower his mercy upon you. So it's not that at the end of this life or at the end of the annihilation of all the universes, you will just automatically go back. No, you will go rest in Vishnu. For a while, you will just be resting. Because you're so tired of millions and millions of births. Can you imagine? So much brain damage has happened. So the Lord says, okay, chalo, you rest for a little while. Then when I get ready to create, Vishnu says, yes, this Jivatma has balance ABC, XYZ. So they have to take birth again. So they continue their journey like this. So this is the 10th shloka. So Krishna himself says, I am giving them the divine knowledge. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavastha jnana deepena bhasvata. So again, Krishna is responding. He is saying to show them special mercy. See, mercy is important. Without the mercy of the Lord, you would not be here listening to Bhagavad Gita. So understand the Lord is already present in a big way in your life. So without the mercy of the Lord, you and I would not be here. So here Krishna is saying to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna himself says, I reveal myself to them. So when all of the ignorance is removed, you will see Krishna. See, even there, it is Krishna himself helping you. So how do you understand these 4 shlokas? When you have a relationship with someone, you act on that relationship. You want to serve them because by serving them, you please them. So for example, newlyweds, if it is their first anniversary, maybe the husband will go out and buy a bouquet of flowers or book a place where he would take his wife out for evening dinner, etc. So relationship means service. You express your love to each other through service. So similarly, the beginning or the revival of our relationship with Krishna is called Sambandha. When we recognize, yes, this is the personality who created me, therefore I am eternally connected to him. And that's why Krishna says, the minute you understand who Krishna is, what does the personality do? They start becoming a devotee of Krishna. They have no hesitation. They don't feel the need anymore to worship any other devatas because they have understood who Krishna is. Therefore, they start practicing what is called sadhana bhakti, and this is abhideya. Means your practice. Until you reach the goal, which is called prayojana. Prayojana means Krishna prema. Your goal is to love Krishna with a pure heart. That is your ultimate goal. But to recognize that, you first have to recognize that you have a relationship with Krishna. Then you can act on it. So the Lord himself gives this superior wisdom, but to only those who are constantly engaged in his devotional service. So we've understood Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Sambandha means relationship. You act on that relationship by performing your sadhana, by doing your seva for the pleasure of Guru. Ultimately, you'll reach the goal of Krishna Prema. So, Krishna now explains some of his opulences and how he is the Supreme Lord. Arjuna also validates them. So Arjuna says he's been patiently listening. He thought Bhagavad Gita over, let's close the chapter. And maybe he would have been ready to fight. I do not know. But here Arjuna is saying, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishayas Sarve Devar Shirnaradatha Asito Devalo Vyasaha Swayam Chaiva Bhavishime. Arjuna is saying, my dear Lord, you are declaring to me you are the Supreme Lord. I have heard the same thing from Narada Muni, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa. Now you are confirming the same thing to me. So it's like a double validation of the truth. So Arjuna is saying you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So Arjuna is saying, I also accept that you are the Supreme One. And I've also heard Vyasadev. So whoever Arjuna is mentioning, he has actually met them. So everybody has told him Krishna is Bhagavan, Krishna is Bhagavan, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. So you may think, oh, Arjuna is just a friend, that's why he's saying it. But no, he's giving proof. by calling out those who have mentioned the same thing to him. So now, Arjuna, who by now must have been thinking, oh, Bhagavad Gita is over, he's actually asking the Lord not to stop talking. He says, continue on with your Harikatha. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyah kathaya triptirhi shrinvato nasti me mritam. O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So for the devotees of the Lord, some of you are attending this Bhagavad Gita class, I don't know for how many times, 7, 8 times, I think. Because you just want to hear Bhagavad Gita again and again and again. You're connecting to Krishna by hearing these classes, these sessions. And the via medium is Zoom temple. But you are able to connect to Krishna, and that's why you keep coming back to these classes again and again. So it's like honey. Little is not enough. You need more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So what is the reason Arjuna is asking Krishna to describe his Shakti potency in detail? Because that's what the Lord is going to do now. Because Arjuna has asked. Why? Because when everybody hears about Krishna's Shakti potencies, which means his power, then they can understand that he is the Supreme Lord. What about the devotees who hear about the Shakti potencies of the Lord? For them, it is like, oh, Harikatha. They are very happy to hear. And for Arjuna himself, he wants to hear about Krishna's opulences or Shakti potencies because he can then practice remembering Krishna at the time of death. In case he will lose his life in the battlefield, he would have heard about the Lord and his mystical potencies directly from the Lord himself. So just as Arjuna cited great personalities who had told him that Krishna is a Supreme Lord, we should also do the same thing. We should accept it. There should be no reason why we have any doubts in this regard. So we must follow the Guru Parampara system. So now, from Shloka 20 to 42, Krishna is going to describe 82 opulences. It's very beautiful actually when you read it. So we're just going to quickly read the shlokas. What is Krishna saying? Krishna begins by saying, I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. So Krishna is saying, you can search for me, you can look for me, I'm there everywhere. You just have to develop the eyes to see me. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force or consciousness. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kubera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni, and of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know thee to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So here, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi, Krishna is saying in Shloka 25. The best yajna you can do, Krishna is saying, is chanting my holy names. Because I am present in my holy names. Of all the trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Of horses, know me to be Uchchaishrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat, and among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the many-hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. So there is a difference between a snake and a serpent. Of the many-hooded, so here the Nagas are said to have many hoods. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of the departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of Lord, I am Yama, the Lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahalad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. So what is Krishna doing here? He is saying, all these other Jivatmas that you see, their power, their Shakti potency is coming from me. So when you see a lion, you can understand that potency of the lion is coming from Krishna. When you taste water, you can understand the potency of that taste is coming from Krishna. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielder of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A. And among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time. And of creators, I am Brahma. So like this, the Lord is describing all of His glories. So you can read these shlokas. And how does the Lord conclude? But before we do that, all of the examples that the Lord has cited, if you understand that all of this potency of the lion, of the shark, of these great personalities, all of that potency of power is coming from the Lord. So when you experience the Lord Shakti, then you know behind Shakti there is Shaktiman. So if Shakti is Srimati Radharani, then you know Radharani emanates from Shaktiman, and that Shaktiman is Krishna. So the last shloka of this chapter, Krishna is asking Arjuna a question. Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. Krishna is asking Arjuna, why you ask this question? But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Why do you need to know any of this? Why do you want to see my opulences? You should know with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So Krishna is saying with a mere spark from my body, everything is being maintained. Okay. If it is only one small spark of Shakti potency from the Lord that is maintaining all of these Brahmandas, what is Krishna doing with all of his other Shakti potencies? Do you know? If just one small spark has been used to create and run all of this life as we know it, what is Krishna doing with the rest of his Shakti potency? Because he's saying not everything you see here, you just see one small, like 0.001%. So what is Krishna doing with all of his other Shakti potencies? What do you think?
For his devotees?
Yes. All of the rest of the Lord's Shakti potency are used in the pastimes with his devotees. Therefore, very little Shakti potency is used by the Lord to maintain all of these universes. The rest of it, the Lord uses it to please his devotees. So we will conclude this particular chapter by simply understanding that everything that you see in nature around you emanates from Krishna. So if you see a beautiful butterfly, understand that beauty, that design, the color, everything is coming from Krishna. Therefore, everything is simply a reflection of Krishna, including yourself. Whatever good that you have in you is also a reflection of Krishna, because Krishna has given you that potency or that gift. So any time Krishna gives you a gift, you are supposed to use it in his service. That is how Krishna operates. Okay, so we'll stop here. What was the single word summary for today's chapter? For chapter 10?
Bhakta.
Bhakta. So that is the essence of the Chatushloki. What the bhaktas are always doing. They're always talking
Remembering.
about Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Remembering.
Remembering him. Yes, very nice. Okay, any other questions based on today's chapter?
Knowing the truth.
Sorry, what was that?
Knowing the truth.
Knowing the
He-
truth. Yeah, Krishna reveals the truth to them himself. That's what he says.
Yeah, Krishna's opulence is
Unlimited.
unlimited opulences.
Yeah. That is why it's called Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means opulence. And Krishna is saying, how much more can I keep describing to you all my potency? I've given you one small sample. Just understand all of this is nothing. Yes. Okay. Anything else? Tomorrow is Ekadashi. Ekadashi means more chanting, more hearing. So please join us tomorrow at least 10 minutes early. So whatever you do on Ekadashi, you will get multiple times the benefit.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
The Ekadashi timing starts from tomorrow morning till day after
Yes.
tomorrow morning.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Any particular thing we have to follow? Like, I mean,
If you want to keep a fast, you can have fruits and milk.
okay.
Yeah. That's
chanting.
Yes, and chanting and hearing and reading Bhagavad Gita. These are
We
ways
can
in which
offer
you can observe the fast.
prasad to God also. I mean, that is.
Yes.
And day after tomorrow, what we are supposed to do? I mean, I thought somewhere morning it is ending.
So in that morning hours, you can break your fast with prasadam, grain prasadam. You can break your fast with
Grain, ma'am.
grain. Grain meaning whatever, rice, wheat, chapati. Because
Okay.
tomorrow you cannot have any of those items, right?
Okay.
So that means when you break the fast, you have to break the fast with the items that you have fasted from.
Okay.
Mainly grains, pulses, all of this we are not allowed to have tomorrow.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Any other question? Okay. One comment was made in the chat that in the Brahma Vimohan Leela also, how can we say that Lord Brahma separated the Gopa boys and the calves from Krishna? Well, literally speaking, that did happen. But in return, the people who experienced the benefit of this separation were the gopis and the cows, because the Lord himself came into their lives personally, even though they were not aware of it. So in that sense, you could say Krishna has come closer to his devotee for the purposes of pleasing them. So yes, both statements can be true simultaneously. Okay. All right, if there are no further questions, join us tomorrow for some wonderful chanting. And if we have time, we will do chapter 11. Yes? Okay, thank you. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Hare Krishna devotees, we will see you tomorrow. Hari Bol. And Chinmay, you can post the poll about chanting again today. I just want to know how many chanted there, at least one mala today. Yes?
Yeah, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hari Bol. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Tomorrow is only
Krishna.
chanting.
Tomorrow we'll do chanting. Yeah, if we have time, we'll do chapter 11.